Yeah, it's one of Henry Cotton's first or maybe second books. It's very old. Um, Back in the heyday, this game of golf, and this is really one of the books that led the way, along with Ben Hogan and another couple of books by Henry Cotton. And all these books have one thing in common. They all try and give you like snapshots of a swing in motion in various positions, right? And you'll see that there. The capture rate of the film as well back in those days was very, very slow. So, stop motion pictures, that type of thing. It was very hard to see what's going on in a golf swing. But the players were fantastic, and Henry Cotton was one of the first to actually start to try and understand the actual arc of the golf club by using stop-start motion and tracking the club head. You can probably see that there. He was one of the first to sort of try and he knew the club was swinging on an arc and a plane, and he was probably one of the first that tried to try and match them. Now, why am I talking about old books and stuff? Because obviously we've done like our fair share of research throughout the years on these, and we've come to the conclusion that back in the day when these guys were playing professional golf, and before that with the Hickory clubs, they were wearing attire that you could not, and I mean never in a million years, swing rotationally with if you were wearing. You're talking like the heaviest tweed jackets, long jackets at that, right down to mid leg length, heavy material, very restrictive on the turn side of it. And obviously, we all know what happened throughout the years. But on this journey, we found like the 45. Now, the Varden triangle has been drawn many times, but because books are 2D and Varden's golf diagrams were all drawn in 2D, because very rarely did the actual author write or draw their own pictures in books. It was up to the printer to assign someone to actually draw in the images. So what we're saying is the Varden triangle appears to be flat on a page, but in actual fact the Varden triangle is very much like a book if you open it halfway. So it runs up on a 45, but it is triangular out in front of you, right? With the angle being the Varden grip angle between your rear shoulder, a tip, so anywhere here. And obviously this means that this lead arm straight and this arm acts like a piston and fires down at the same time as the blended and all these stop motion stuff that's in every book and every TV show, PGA Tour event, European Tour event, you cannot see this because it happens so quickly. An interesting thing about this as well is if you've fell into the trap of clickbait and you've watched the videos that say about the Holy Grail, and there's hundreds of them out there. They show you the plane, they even get boards, right? And you've seen it. So they set the ball here and then they set a plane angle, right? In this case I'm just using a book because I'm not going to spend the time doing it to show you something that takes literally 10 minutes, 5 minutes to actually decode this once you know. So his idea was, like everyone else's, the swing ideally should be on a plane. And everyone believes that the plane should be, like Hogan suggested, a pane of glass. You should never be able to break that pane of glass. But again, the illustrations on the pane of glass thing and everything were not done by Hogan. They were handed over to an artist, and it's his interpretation of what Hogan was saying and everyone else's. So stop for a minute and just think, for over 200 years, if these things weren't drawn correctly, we've all been getting the wrong end of the stick, and this is a classic example. So the ball's here, your shaft is down on this line, and you believe that if you swing the club through and back on this shaft line, plane line, you'll always be square to the ball. There's only one problem with that. It doesn't work. And the ironic thing is, the only time that applies to any position is actually at address, and that's static. So that's your first initial setup. Your shaft would be touching this line. It would be on the ball. After that, that line does not exist anymore. It's now a set of motions that must be thrown at the same moment. So they throw up on the 45 with a blended turn. This obviously gets you to the top. Now, why is this key to you never ever coming over the top again? Like we explained in the previous video, because you're losing height, there's nothing you can counter to do this. You have to be bent over at the ball. You turn but drop this lead shoulder, you're then losing more height. Once you get to the top with a throw, you have now, and you might have heard a couple of people talk about this, you've engaged your turn, whatever that turn is, you're at the top of your swing. Effectively now, your arms are on a set of monkey bars. Now, or you're as if you're hanging with your hands on a set of bars, okay? And gravity will only let them come straight down, which is absolutely locked in. Now, when you do that, the elliptical power of the acceleration on the arc drops everything, and if you have got a slight drop of the knees, impact actually comes not on this side, it's coming on this side. So the whole throw brings you to that point where you can let the thing go, and you can really like go at it in the knowledge that as long as you've thrown it correctly on the Vartan triangle, and it doesn't matter how much flexibility you've got, you're now in the position of being able to just let it go, because it's locked in under centrifugal force and gravity. The swing is actually only really up and down in front of you at all times. Up and down, that's all the swing is. It's the only part that you've got to worry about or get right at the same time of that is the turn. There's no movement of the hands. The hands are always there. That's all your hands are doing. Your hands don't do any other movement other than that. Right? So take your hands, and they're out the swing. Unless you're talking about specialist wedge shots or lob shots out of bunker, your hands and wrists do very, very little. All they do is move up and down on the same 45 angle as your arm. So if anything, you've maybe got a slight movement of that. But there is absolutely nothing going on in the golf swing with like this type of movement. Obviously, modern golf fell into the trap of rotation and rotational swings. Like I say to you, if you go back in time, rotational golf did not exist. It didn't happen. It was never ever a thing. Modern golf is twisted golf to a point now where rotation has aborted like the whole motion. Now you've got to do so many compensations with wrist angles, hinges, things that do not need to ever happen in your golf swing. And you're wondering why, how can I not just swing like Dustin Johnson? Because you've not got the physical core strength, the natural gift of knowing where that club is, and the sheer strength to muscle it like Dustin Johnson. But you can use gravity and use the throw the way it was meant to be, the way it was invented, and then lost. You found it now. So just take it easy, go out to the range and start smacking the ball like you've never hit it before and enjoy yourself. Because honestly, the feedback, the comments, everybody on the channel who's subscribed has slowly maybe had their doubts, but now they're absolutely just naturally hitting the ball the way it's supposed to be. Also, doing this as well with your wedges, you become unbelievably confident with distance control. The reason for that is because the face angle is so neutral through the ball that you start to work out, well, if I take it back that far, it goes that far. If I take it back that far, it goes a wee bit further. Or if I take it back a wee bit less further, it doesn't go as far. Pendulum action. Thanks for watching. It's been a catch-up because the range was so busy today, I couldn't actually get out on it without like looking like a, you know, if I was hitting shots and trying to talk. So I will get back out and I'm going to show you the driver because I've absolutely been, you know, I know, you know, distance isn't everything, but when you're using less effort, right, and more sort of like ground force, I'm hitting it 20, 30, 40, I could even probably go as far as 50 yards further, but honestly, it's just, it needs to be shown to really like see it. So we're going to try and do that out in the course. Although it's very hard to do when you've not got the, what's that thing called where it's like the ball flight thing, the track scope, that thing that you can, ball tracer, that's the one. It's very difficult to show you that because honestly, I've tried everything to let people see my ball flight, which is a nice tight, soft draw, and you know, you can't see the ball. I've tried yellow balls, red balls, blue balls. I've tried everything to make it show up. So as of yet, I've yet to work it out unless I can get a shot tracer or something. I'll maybe look into that, but I think you've got to pay for the app. I could be wrong. And seeing as I film on my phone, I don't know how that would work. But anyway, all shot in a nothing phone. So thanks for watching. It's like it's starting to really make sense that all these books were out there. Ben Hogan's 5 Lessons, Seymour Dunn's 5 Lessons, Henry Cotton, Sam Snead, the list of Varden, Byron, Nelson, books. It's down to whoever was drawing the diagrams and putting them down in 2D. That's where I think the golf swing or a true path of it all got distorted and completely lost in translation. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.